Do you remember when Apple removed the headphone jack off their phones and everyone went, ah, this is all a bit crazy, and then sooner or later everybody else followed suit? Well, I think this car is a bit like if Apple designed a car. Not only has it been described as a bit of a spaceship, but also they've done that one thing where they remove something. And in this Polestar 4, it's the rear window. It was never designed to have one, but it's just not there. And you have a camera instead. Is that a trend? Is that something that's going to catch on? Welcome to Gone in 60 Seconds. Today we're going to have a look at the Polestar 4. We're going to take it for a drive. We're going to look inside and outside. And I'm going to tell you what I think about it. Please do like and subscribe to the channel to see more videos like this one. So what is Polestar and why is it number 4? Well, Polestar started off as a racing team in Sweden back in the 90s. Now, they went on to become effectively a tuning house, making sports parts and models for Volvo, and then became part of the Volvo group. Of course, Volvo is now also part owned by Geely from China. In the 2010s, they stepped out to become a brand all of their own, making their own production cars. And after Polestar 1, which was the first one, which was a hybrid, everything else is electric only. This is number 4 because it is the 4th production car they have released. It's not 4 because it's the 4th biggest or the 4th fastest. It is literally 4 because it's the 4th one. They've just announced a 5 that's now being released and a 6, which will be a spoiler later on. But yes, this is Polestar number 4, the 4th chapter in what is quite a remarkable book, part Swedish and part Chinese. Let's have a look around the outside. So first of all, you've got these LED matrix headlights. The top ones are your daytime running lights and the bottom ones are your light bending headlights. You've got this cladding around the front and all your sensors on the bottom there, and of course camera, because there are cameras all around. The badge lights up in a really tasteful way, and I'll show you that later. Let's go around the outside. So 21-inch sports wheels on this one, diamond cut alloys, more cameras on the side, cameras there, cameras there, cameras absolutely everywhere. I also love these Polestar wing mirrors because they're frameless, so they look really, really futuristic. As an option, you can also pay to have this in body colour, but I actually quite like it in this because I think it sets off the rest of the car. This blue is actually an additional price. You can add that as an option. The rear windows here are blacked out. They have privacy glass in them. That is also an option. That will be a theme. So the light across the back, you've got this light bar. You've got little vents here, which aren't actually vents, but they are good for aerodynamics. And you've got the diffuser underneath, and more of this cladding goes around the sides and makes it look a bit more rugged. Of course, the big headline feature is the fact there is no rear window and you have cameras up there. Here is your charging port at the back of the car. Button to open it, a little light that changes to green whilst it's charging. There you go, you get around 300 miles on a full charge, and you can charge from 10 to 80% in under half an hour. Little button to close it as well, look. So, in the back of here, it feels almost limo-like. There is so much room in here. It is a great car to be driven in. It's so relaxing. This is real leather, it's Nappa leather. It even says on the back of the seat that this is 100% traced leather, animal welfare secured. So it's obviously been taken from cows that were going to die anyway and have had a, I don't know, sung a lullaby at the same time or something. In the back, you've got the pockets on the back of your door. You have decent sized door bins. This leather is absolutely everywhere and really makes the car feel premium. There's some really good quality lighting in here, and I'll tell you about how you can adapt that later. The massive panoramic roof. This has the electrochromatic option as well. So at the touch of a button, you can completely frost it over so you can't see through it. But at the minute, we've got the light coming in. In here, you've also got a screen in the middle, which allows you to adjust your own climate for the back seats. You can also add your heated seats here and manage it all from just this little screen. You can also play your music from the back here too. A couple of chargers on the back of the center console. It's not a completely flat floor, but it is near as it could possibly be. So there's no transmission tunnel or anything. It is quite comfortable. If you're the middle seat passenger, it's actually all right as an adult. It's not the worst seat in the world. There is space. You are sat a little bit higher than your friends either side of you, so you've got to hope you are friends. Also Isofix on the two outer seats, where it's just covered by these little plastic covers. In the middle, this comes down, and this center armrest is very, very cool. Not only has it got this textured leather, also a little tray here. You tap the end there and your cup holders will come out. You also have buttons either side which allow you to move your seats. So you can recline or not if you don't want to, adding to the luxury feel of this car. Just to show you how much space there is in here, Adam, I want you to come and sit in here too. You'll pass me the camera and we'll flip it round. Adam, how tall are you again?
About 6'4", 6'5".
6'4", 6'5", right. Look at that.
That's, yeah, loads of room. I'm almost touching the ceiling, but I can sit up straight. I've got loads of leg room, which is very unusual in a car. And it's nice high seat position. Very nice. Plenty of room. I want to go on the recliner.
Awesome. So you get the Adam seal of approval. As you can see, you don't have a rear window, but you do have a mirror, which is only really any good if you want to see the people in the back. So you have to use the camera. Now, the camera here is really high definition, but it does take an awful lot of getting used to, because when you look up to it, your eyes do refocus, which takes a bit of time. You can adjust the brightness of it and the angle of it on the buttons on the bottom. So it is an innovation, but does it solve a problem that didn't need to be solved? I like a mirror, but this is something we're probably going to have to get used to. If you're ever driven a van, then you're used to not having a mirror and you use your side mirrors. But also you do have loads and loads of cameras in here as well. So your view around is absolutely fantastic. If you're parking or going through a tight space, you'll find yourself using the cameras way more than this anyway, because it is such a better view. And because there's so many cameras around this car, it does pick everything up. So this is the view from the back camera. Now I'm a good 2-3 meters away from the car, and you can see you can't really judge the distance quite as well as you can in a real mirror, but this is what it looks like. So as you can see, no back window, but it is very, very limo-like in here with that lighting in the back as well. Really makes it stand out. So here we are in the front of the Polestar 4, and doesn't it look amazing? I think the interior in here is absolutely top notch. So the build quality in here is absolutely fantastic. Everything feels super premium. There are things to touch everywhere. So this is like a knitted kind of material. That leather is on the top and on the glove box and all the way down here. This is all brushed aluminium, and this feels really, really premium. Your phone goes in there, that's your phone charger, and here are your cup holders hidden under this nice piece of metal. Under the armrest, you have 2 more USB-Cs and a felt-lined cubby hole. Again, perfect for your car suites, which you really need. Now, these seats we've already talked about. This is that Napa leather. Again, that is an option, but it is heated and cooled, and ventilated seats always get my vote. Ventilated seats just feel absolutely premium. To activate everything, you have to do it through the screen. That includes if you want to open your glove box. So you push a button to open it, and inside there is just absolutely loads of space if it wasn't so full of stuff. So a quick talk about the screen, but I will make a separate video about the screen to go through it all in more detail. First of all, you can connect your CarPlay and Android Auto to this automatically with, it's wireless, so there's no cables needed. You can pop your shortcuts on here, and you can just connect your phone but use the stock Google system. It's got a Google brain in the screen. So if you use the stock system, it is Google Maps, and you can obviously set all your home and everything as you would anyway. This strip across the bottom here is always present, which is really handy because there are no buttons at all for climate. So everything, you have to use these buttons on the screen, including quick access for your cameras and for your demisting and your voice assistant. Push the car button to go to your shortcuts, including your driving assistance, and that button will take you to your apps. Always push the home button to go home. If you open one of these while you're driving, you just have to push it again to minimize it. So this is the steering wheel. It is reassuringly sized. It is heated as well, and it's got the leather all around it. Got on the little sports strip on the top. These buttons are different to what you may have seen if you've seen other reviews of the Polestar 4. This is the newer version, and they have upgraded this to make it more usable. So if we put the car into drive and we try and push some of the buttons, it's going to tell me off for doing so because we've got doors open. But these are actually a rocker switch now, so they move, and as you push them, it highlights on the screen what you're pushing. But because it's not just a haptic single touch pad, it does make life much simpler, and it is really easy to use on the move. So it's a proper rocker switch, which if you've ever used a games console or a PlayStation or something, then you've used the D-pad before, and that is exactly what that feels like. And it's in the perfect position. Shortcut buttons here will now allow you to edit your shortcut buttons here too, including things like changing your driver display to whether you want it minimalist, you want your map in the middle, or whether you want it to show the lane that you're on and stuff around you. You can also change things by pushing the button there and moving it up and down. Also a quick access button for your voice assistant. This stalk on this side will activate your wipers and your lights, and this one on here is for your gears. So you can change from reverse to park just by flipping it up and down, and you push the tab on the end to put it into park. So down here, this is just a volume control. You play and pause and turn it up and down, which makes that loads easier, doesn't it? But that's the only control in the dashboard. Now underneath here, you have got a big space down here, which is really handy. That space there is really good for something like your sunglasses, and down here you could put your handbag or whatever it is you're transporting around. It's also got like a rubber lining so it doesn't roll around. Great thing about an EV is that you do have some extra space at the front with your frunk. It's only a small space, but it is big enough for your charging cables and your warning triangle. Let's have a look at the space inside, shall we? Now, this space is actually bigger than it looks. It's nice and square, which is really handy. You've also got a 12-volt socket over there and a netting here. Subwoofer in there and quite a lot of storage underneath. There's enough that I can even fit a backpack in there, and then you've got your tyre inflation kit under there as well. See, this is quite a big space for you to store stuff. The floor also can move down to give you a little bit more space in the back. while this doesn't look big, and because it has that sloping roofline, you wouldn't think it was massive. However, we managed to move our daughter all the way to Bournemouth for uni with all of her stuff, which I think is quite amazing. We'll put some photos in the video so you can see exactly what I'm talking about. Right, so this here is a little load cover. You can open it up if you wanted to allow a little bit of breathing space into the boot, but why would you? You know, it does, there's no window here, there's nothing to see out of here, is there? So that just clips back there. And I love the attention to detail. Look, there's even a little Polestar logo there. Right then, Adam, time for the boot test. As we know, you're the biggest. Can you get in the boot?
I reckon so.
There you go. And he's a big human. Let's shut it. Bye, Adam. Is he going to let me? Right. Should we go to the pub? Best let him out, really.
There's room for another one in there.
Amazing. So this car is described as being a sport SUV coupe, which is a little bit of a contradiction in terms, isn't it? It does have that fast coupe roofline, which does make it look quite sporty, and it is very slightly higher, but not massively high. So I personally wouldn't call it an SUV. However, it is a little bit higher, and once you get in and out of it, you do feel that little bit, which is quite good for access. If you are getting older people in here, or people in with car seats, it is a nice height to do that. Something else I really like about this car is the glass in here is all rimless. It's all frameless. So it looks great, doesn't it? It always looks premium when it's like that, I think. That's as far as that goes down though. So, you know, it doesn't all go all the way into the door. One thing also to show you is the door handles, which may seem like an odd thing, but you open the door just by opening that little bit there. Actually, it feels really premium. It's a really strong piece of metal. It's not like a flimsy thing, which is quite cool. And the door bins, as you can see a little bit closer now, are split into a couple of different compartments to allow you to carry bottles and more sweets. The door handles are poppy outy handles. They do open as soon as you move towards the car. And that brings me on to the key. The key that comes with it is just a little box. No buttons, it doesn't do anything. It is just a little sensor. If that's in your pocket, then the car will open up and these handles will pop out when you walk up to it. And it will switch itself on. And when you walk away, it will just switch itself off. There's no on or off button. You have to trust that it just goes off after a while. You have another option for a key also. You can have a key card that fits in your wallet, and then yet another option where you can download the app on your phone, and on the app you can lock and unlock the car using your app. Also on the app, and I'll show you, I'll put it up here next to me so you can see a screenshot of the app. You can see your state of charge, so while it's charging you can put on your climate control. So if you get up in the morning and you're having a bit of breakfast, you think, I'm going out in half an hour, but it's blooming cold out there, you can put on your heating before you get in the car, so it's all nice and ready for when you leave. You can also see exactly where it is at all times, because the GPS will tell you where it is. So you can remember in the car park where you left it. Not that I've ever done that. So just to quickly show you the roof. So as you can see, you've got the options there of a clear or tinted. At the moment it's on tinted, as you can see. And then if I push the clear button, there you go. Bright blue skies. How amazing is that? And it is just the touch of a button. So tinted, and it will tint over. As you can see, that's just faded back in and clear. and it will clear just like that. So tinted, clear. And it is just a button in the screen there. Let's take it for a drive. So the big question is, what is it like to drive? Now, I've had this car for a week, thank you to Polestar, who have kindly allowed us to have the car to take it on a proper test. And I have properly tested it. We've done a few 100 miles round trip for us to take our daughter to university. Also driven around town and driven to work. So I've definitely put it through paces, so I'll tell you exactly what I think. First of all, when you're driving, you can tell how wide this car is. And that is probably the biggest drawback of this car. It's almost too big for these Devon roads, where everything's quite narrow and everyone's parked on the streets. It is really tight and sometimes almost quite scary to drive because you don't want to damage it. And I don't like driving like that. I like to know that it's the right size, and it's just so wide, it's really, really noticeable. It's wider by quite a considerable amount than my daily driver, which is a Land Rover. So it really does make it quite squeaky bum sometimes when you're trying to go through gaps. And of course, with these delicious alloys, you don't want to be scraping them down the curb, do you? Now, it is an SUV, but it doesn't feel like an SUV, of course. It's much smaller than most. Does it feel sporty? Yes, it does. Now, bear in mind, this is the single motor long range version. This is not the fastest version, but there is so much power in this, and it is so accessible. You put your foot down and you fly forwards. It is absolutely incredible. Even in this version, it takes your breath away. It's that good. This is definitely the sweet spot in terms of the car you should order, because by ordering the extra motor, not only do you put the price up by nearly 10 grand, you also add to the weight, and you do feel that when you drive it. Whilst the power is ridiculous and you get 0 to 60 in something like 3 point something seconds, in this, it's not actually that far behind that, and your daily usable power is way, way more than enough. If you're overtaking on the motorway, you have enough instant power to make it feel like a sports car. In terms of handling, it is fairly stiffly sprung. If you get the dual motor one, you do get adaptive suspension. Again, I don't think you necessarily need it. It kind of feels quite smooth and glidey, which is great around town. The turning circle isn't too bad either. Although it's massive and it is long and it is wide, you can turn it in quite a small space, which helps. In terms of the tech whilst you're driving, this has all of the safety systems you would expect. It's got your speed limit warning, your lane keeping assist. It tells you if you need a coffee. Now, there are a few problems with a couple of these systems. They are not perfect. First of all, the speed limit warning is a little bit bonkers. It doesn't always read the speed limit properly. And when I say not always, I mean probably about 20% of the time, which is quite a lot. You can quite often be driving down a 70-mile-an-hour road and it thinks it's only 5 miles, and then it's beeping at you, it's shouting at you all the time. So you kind of have to turn that off if you want a good ride. And I've tried it using Apple Maps and Waze and Google Maps on the screen, and they all give you the correct speed limit, but the car itself is telling you something different. So the sign, the sensor in the front of the car has obviously misread the sign, and that's really blooming annoying, because it means you do actually have to go in and turn it off. Now, if you want to turn it off, you have to go into the screen, into the menu, and you have to do it every time you get in the car, which is a bit of a pain. The lane keeping assist can be a little bit aggressive, especially if you're at a merge point on like a zip merge. It can be a bit aggressive in trying to stop you from turning, but actually in some points it does push you to be a little bit of a better driver. So if you are trying to change lane to go back after overtaking, you have to make sure you indicate, otherwise it thinks you're wandering out of lane, which obviously makes you a little bit of a better driver if you make sure you're indicating all the time. Otherwise it'll shove you back into the lane and then it'll get a bit twitchy. It's not ideal. Lastly, with the tech, you do have the sensors above the steering wheel here, which are always looking at your eyes, and sometimes if you've got your sunglasses on or the sun glares you and you go which it sometimes does, it goes, oh, you need a coffee, you need to stop, you need to have a break. Which obviously if you are tired and you need a break, that's brilliant. But what it also does, it sets the massager off in the seat and it gives you a massive punch in the back of in your back to wake you up, which shocked me when it first did it. But I can understand why it does it. It's kind of cool, but you know, it does take you by surprise the very first time. So if you're out very early in the morning and the sun comes up and gets you in the face, just be prepared to see that coffee cup symbol and the car shouting at you. Again, it's something you can turn off, but obviously it has some real good use. You want the car to remind you if you are falling asleep at the wheel. You want to be kept in your lane, and if it worked properly, you would like to know what the speed limit is. What you can't see from a video, because it's really difficult to show you on camera, is I do also have a heads-up display in front of me. So not only do I have this screen, but I also have a heads-up display projected onto the windscreen. That tells me the speed I'm doing, the speed limit of where I am. It will also tell me if it's like a school zone or if there is any roadworks or anything, which is really quite useful. But that's directly in your eye line, so you don't need to look at the screen like a Tesla. You don't need to look down here to see it. So it is really, really useful. One thing I'm also not a massive fan of whilst you're driving is the fact that everything is in the screen. Now, I know that's a trend, but some manufacturers have started putting physical buttons back in. Having these across here is useful, but having to tap them and change everything whilst you're driving is distracting, and it does take your eyes off the road. And I know you get used to it, get used to where they are. However, I personally still prefer buttons. You may not, this may be perfect for you, but me, I personally prefer a button. You can put your shortcuts on here. It means there are a lot of things you can do just from muscle memory because you know exactly where they are. And my last gripe with this car, and I promise you it's my last gripe, is the indicators. Now, the indicator stalk, we can do it along here because it's really quiet, but when you push it, it doesn't always auto cancel, and sometimes it's oversensitive. So if you physically cancel it yourself, you actually put it into the other way, and you can spend a couple of goes correcting yourself, and that can be quite confusing to the people around you. It's a very minor annoyance because it only happens occasionally, but yeah, other than that, do you know what? This car is very calm and relaxing to drive. It's befitting of the experience you'd expect from the interior, where it's so calm. It's also very simple to drive because you don't even have to turn a key or push a button. You literally get in and it's already automatically on. Once you've selected your mode, everything will follow exactly how you like it. Your shortcuts will be in the right place. Your stereo will be tuned to the right channel. Everything will be exactly as you want it. It's really good in terms of knowing what you want. The fact you have the heated and the cooled seats I think are a massive luxury and a real plus point. It's also got the extra support underneath your legs that you can move forwards and backwards, so it is a proper relaxing drive. Also, these seats do recline fairly well back, so if you are having a bit of a relax while you're charging, again, it's pretty decent. I suppose then we should chat about range, because everyone worries about range with an EV. Now, from 100% charge, I've been getting about 280, 290 miles. And I do a lot of 70 miles an hour driving, so that does take its toll on it. If you're just driving around town, obviously it'll be even more efficient than that. However, most people drive 25 miles a day, which is the figure everybody uses. So if you're doing a single charge on your driveway overnight, probably for about 5 or 6 quid, then you've got a whole week, 10 days worth of driving, haven't you, for that few quid. So it's quite a compelling purchase in terms of fuel costs in that respect. If you can't charge at home, your public charging points are more expensive, but that is something that we know is an issue. If you have your driveway, then EVs make loads more sense. So, as promised, we're going to have a look at the screen in more detail. I'm going to show you around all the buttons and exactly what they do. So, first of all, you notice the strip across the bottom. You've got your voice assistant, you've got your demister, and your button for your cameras, which as soon as you push it, you get a good look around, which is a really good camera. It gives you so much detail, which I must admit is extremely handy because the car is so wide. So I found myself using the cameras an awful lot just to judge how close I am to something. It's a good view out here too, right? You've got all your buttons here for your climate, including your seats. Wait, we turn the camera off first. Now your seats have got massaging, and in the front here you've got heated and ventilated seats. And as I keep saying, I absolutely love ventilated seats. And there you've got your shortcuts. That is your ambience, which I'll talk about in a minute. My CarPlay tile is there, and then this one here is for if your phone is connected but you're not using either of those. And this section here is for Google Maps, which as you can see is super responsive. This screen does have a Google Brain, so if you're used to using Google services, you'll find that this is just like on your phone or on your tablet, etc. So that is your main home screen. On the top you've got a few other bits and pieces there. You can see your signal and the profile that you're in. Down here, this is your car button. So this gets you all the controls for the car. Now from here you can open your glove box and your tailgate, child lock. These are all your favourite things that you can do whilst you're sat in the car. Click on drive, you can change your creep, your hill descent control, your stability control, and your one pedal driving. I love one pedal driving, so I always have mine on as standard. In the assistance features, you've got your speed limit warning, road sign information, pilot assist, which is really handy. You've got your blind spot information, super useful because it lights up on your mirrors, lane keeping assist, and your driver alert that reminds you you need to stop and have a coffee if you're yawning. Charging information on this page. So if you think every one of these you click opens another set of tabs. So like for example here you click charge and then you've got 2 tabs at the top. Once you get the hang of it, it is really simple to use, but there's so much in here you can edit, change, and so much information you can gain from here. So that's the current charge of the car, 213 miles left and 74% of range. And there's a schedule, so you can set up your scheduled charging. If you want it to only charge between the times that you've got a best energy price at home, for example, you can set all of that up in here. You can also set it up in the app. Now, with your audio, this has the amazing Harman Kardon system with speakers absolutely everywhere. And when I say amazing, I mean amazing. It sounds fantastic in here. Now you can choose to optimize your audio for a particular person in the car. Whether you've got children in the back who are listening to some music and you want it a bit quieter up front, you can do that. You know what it's like when you're on a road trip and they want to listen to K-pop Demon Hunters or whatever it is. I don't want to listen to that, so I can play it so it's mostly at the back. You can change it so that your front is a quiet zone. You can also have the sound coming out of your headrests. So you can change it so that if you've got a phone call, it just comes out of your headrest behind you, which allows you to have a bit more privacy in there, which is brilliant. Also, equalizer you can change, and your volume for different types of media, including your navigation, your voice commands, and everything like that. The amount of detail you can go into in here, I think, is absolutely brilliant. So exterior gives you some more tabs, as you can see. So lights, you have your bending lights, so it sees around the corner a little bit better for you. Got your car finder welcome sequence, so you've got the welcome sequence of lights when you walk up towards it. Turn on your rear fog lights. I've got my exterior lights on automatic, some people like to change them. And your home safety light, which you can switch on, gives you a few minutes to find your keys and find your lock in the door. For locking, I've got this car set to unlock as I approach it. You can have a little audio noise as you do that also, and there are loads of different settings here for that. You can set up your child lock and the touch unlock, etc. Sometimes you only want that to work on the front doors or a particular door and not all of them. Do you want to close your windows when you lock the car? Yes, I do. So you just click that tile there. Mirrors, yes, your mirrors are controlled in here. There are settings such as tilting when reversing, if you have that on or not. Folding mirrors when you lock it, yes. If you want to just fold your mirrors, you push the button, it folds them immediately. Defrost it, push that button, it defrosts them. And to adjust your mirrors, you click on there, and then you change it up and down using the D-pad on your steering wheel. There's an image of it there to show you. It also shows up in your driver information display. It's also taking us down to the interior setting because it's the same. So roof tinted and clear, I'll show you that one separately. Wipers, you can put them into service position if you're changing your wiper blades, and you can open the boot just from here if you want to. So back to this interior tab. You can adjust your steering wheel. Again, you click on there and then use your buttons on your steering wheel to do so. Your left mirror and your right mirror and the heads-up display, you can change the angle that it's in front of your face. Seats, you can adjust your position, lumbar, all your cushions and your massage, and set your preferences for all of the 4 outer seats in this screen here. Ambience. Now here's a big one. So your ambient lighting within the car is set up based on the planet. That's the theme they've gone for. And every time you change your planet, you will change the colours of the lighting in here. And I'll show you that in the dark so you can actually see it better. Lights, your courtesy lights and your maximum mirror interior illumination on and off there. Screens, you can adjust your brightness. You've also got a screen right down there for the passengers, which we saw when we did the back of the car. Glove box, you open it by pushing a button in here, as we've already seen. You can also set a passcode for that if you want to keep something safe in there and you're lending the car to someone, for example, and you don't want them to rifle through your glove box, or you want to keep something precious in there. And wireless, do you want to turn on your wireless charging, which is under here. That brings me to this wireless charging pad actually, because with the wireless charging pad, I've seen some people, if you put your foot down too far, your phone can shoot out of here. I've not actually had that problem myself. I've had it loosen up a little bit, but maybe I don't put my foot down hard enough. But your phone just sits in here for wireless charging. And in a way, that's a really good position because you can't see the screen. So if you're getting notifications that aren't important enough for you to put them on your screen, you're not going to see them until you get home or wherever your destination is. So I think that's really good for taking away that distraction. So if we click on the settings tab, the first one is about your Bluetooth and your phone connection. Then you've got your network, 5G and Wi-Fi. The car has both. 5G's on a standard because it's connected, and Wi-Fi you can connect at home. Your profile, so if you've got multiple different drivers, they can set up their own profile. When you click on the profile button, it changes your seat to exactly how you want it, and your steering wheel also. It's really useful when you've got multiple drivers using the car. System information in here and your software updates. Privacy, all of your privacy things, you need to set those up when you first turn the car on. And Google, it sets you to join your Google account if you wish to use the Google services on the screen. So we remove that by pushing on the car. So if you're driving and you need to change your setting, you just push the car again, it disappears and takes you back to your home screen or whatever screen you were looking at. If you push on this one, it takes you to your apps. And again, it's a lot of those things we've already seen, but there's just sort of shortcuts to them. So you have got in here your Ambient, your CarPlay, etc., car status, dash cam works in here. So the cameras will record for you if you set that up. And that's what it's looking at now. You can take a photo, you can record video. That's also very, very useful. Gallery of photos other people have taken. None, so that's good. That could have been a can of worms, couldn't it? Google Maps journey log, your parking cameras, as we've already seen, your phone, your radio settings, and everything is already there. Radio is a good one because it's just all your DAB stations, etc., right there, and that's how you find that. It is buried in there. But obviously, if you're using it all the time, then you probably pin it to your favorites. Your trip meter and a USB media player as well. You can plug in your memory stick, etc. You can download more apps from the Google Play Store, and you can obviously view the menu with the manual through the screen also. So there you have it. That is a fairly comprehensive look at the screen and everything within it, and I hope that really helps you. So we're just going to take a look at the ambient section of this screen. First of all, you see the little Polestar flying through there. This is how you set the scene in the car, and I wanted to wait until it was nighttime just to show you what the ambient lighting does. Basically, you just choose your planet, and that will adapt the lighting to suit the mood of that planet. So the sun is very orangey, and that changes all the colours to orange. You've got Mercury, which is like this whitey silver colour, and as you can see, the whole cabin changes. If you click on Venus, you've got this sort of magenta-y, pinky purpley colour. Earth is blue, as you'd expect. Mars is red. Jupiter is very similar again, isn't it? That magenta-y colour. Saturn is a slightly greeny colour. Uranus, you can put your own joke in here, is this other bluey colour. And Neptune is also another bluey purpley colour. There's some little fun facts about the planet on the screen as well, and you can adjust the brightness and the vibrancy of those colours. As you can see, it all lights up and looks pretty fantastic in here when you consider what probably is a little bit of a gimmick, but you really can change your preferences to how you like it. And what's my favourite colour? Well, my favourite colour is blue, so I'd probably go for that one. What do you think? I like it. Okay, as you know, we like to just have a quick look at the configurator so you can see exactly how much this car costs on the road and the various options included. So if you go to the Polestar website and you have a look, this is what we get. First of all, this version that we're driving today is the long range single motor, which is the slightly less powerful one, and that starts at £58,000. There is a seasonal offer. Normally that's £60,000, so there's a couple of grand off at the moment. The long range dual motor makes it a bit faster, and well, a lot faster. But yeah, the long range one is, there you go, £65,000, so it is quite a difference. The one we've got today has a range of up to 385 miles WLTP. As I said, I was getting anywhere up to 300, but I do a lot of driving on dual carriageways and motorways at 70 miles an hour, so that probably brought it down a bit. Plus the weather was slightly intermittent, so I think if I was just driving around town, it probably would be a bit closer to that. And 6.9 seconds, 0 to 60, it felt faster than that. You certainly had way more than enough power in there as it was. Now, the colour that we had is this electron colour, which is the blue, which I think is probably one of the nicest colours. That is £1,000 option though. If you just go for the base colour, it is this magnesium colour. There's also Snow White and Storm, and then black, or space as they call it. The interior, there are a couple of options here, but the option that we have is the bridge of wheel leather in zinc with charcoal deco, which is £3,300 option, and that's Napa leather, but it does include the ventilation, massage and front headrest speakers. I know that's an awful lot of money, but that is an awful lot of kit for that upgrade. If I was buying this car to live with, I would absolutely spec that, because it is absolutely brilliant. These are all your other packs. So you've got the Plus pack, which includes the Harman Kardon system that we have, the Pixel LED, all of that is included on the one we were using today. Pilot pack is also included on the one we've got. We didn't have the performance pack though, so we didn't need that. The electrochromatic glass roof is easy for me to say. That's a £1,300 upgrade. A brilliant gadget, a brilliant gizmo, but I have to say I really like it. You can, for £900, have body coloured cladding. That's this bit down here. As I said in the start of the video, I actually prefer it without that. I think it's quite nice to have that separation. The privacy glass on the rear side windows is only a £250 option. The wheels we have on ours are the 21-inch Sport, and they are £1,600. They do look very good, but the base 20 Aero are also very nice. I don't think there's a bad option here, to be honest, in terms of wheels. I think they all look absolutely fantastic. So you can add a tow bar, £1,550. You can buy some other charging accessories if you want to. There you go, there's some other bits there you can add in. And finally, interior. So these are just mats and a sunshade for the roof. So if you don't buy the electrochromatic roof, you can pay £160 and have a manual sunshade. You can buy a little waste bin. Lots of different bits and pieces. So that, with all of those options, is £66,200. While you're there, please do go over to the channel and hit subscribe. 5 things I really love about the Polestar 4. Number 1 is this massive boot space, which we've already proved is blooming huge. Number 2, it's got to be the space in the back here. Now, as we've already proved, you can get really tall people in here with absolutely amazing comfort. It's brilliant in here. Number 3, it's got to be the quality and the finish of the materials in this cabin, because everything is amazing to touch. It feels really well put together and is brilliantly thought out. Number 4, it has to be the electrochromatic roof. And yes, I know it's an option, but just the ability to push a button and have it completely clear so you can see through it, and then cover it back up again when you don't want to see through, is just brilliant. And lastly, number 5, it's got to be the style of this thing. I think it's proper premium and it does look out of this world. So I think it's time to wrap this up with a conclusion. It's no secret that I really enjoyed my time with this car. I think it looks fantastic. I do really think it's striking. It's one of the few cars where people stopped me and said, I really like that, what is it? But then I think there's that thing where people are asking, what is it? Because it's not necessarily plainly obvious if you've not seen one before or aware of the brand. There's not many of them about. I think it's a game changer in terms of how aggressively styled it is because it looks fabulous. I think it's a game changer in terms of the way it drives because it matches its power and aggression with a calm and a smoothness that you get with some modern EVs, but this is a next level. But also you've got that third pillar, which is the build quality, where it feels absolutely incredible inside. Everything is very well intentioned and great detail has gone into how well it feels. The tech is brilliant, and of course there are a few niggles which do let it down a little bit, but I think we can forgive them that little bit because to live with this car, you've definitely done all right. It's a very good car. I hope you've really enjoyed the review. I hope you've enjoyed what we've shown you. Please do like and subscribe to the channel. It really helps us to do more of these. I hope to see you again in the next one. Thank you.